What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 28, and we start today's episode off on the back of our defeat at Old Trafford against Manchester United in our first away there this season. With midfield Dominic Solanke, the former Cherry. Napoli wanted to take him to Naples for 15.5 mil. Didn't really think it was realistic though. Solanke had a year here last season, didn't play much, only scored a couple of goals. I don't really know why Napoli would be interested, but even so, we turned it down. I will give Solanke a bit more game time this season, though. You know, I didn't play him much last season, I'll be honest here. Tony was our top scorer, Brennan right behind. Kyle was our third choice, but Solanke didn't get much game time. I'm not against giving him a few minutes this season. Anyway, first game and only game of today's episode, Southampton back at St Mary's, and glad to be back as well on the back of the loss away at Old Trafford. And starting the game off, a debut for William Saliba. Well, I tell you what, we've lost Niakate, but this guy is just so good. He was my player of the season last year. The captain's applauding, as am I on the sidelines, preventing a certain goal. I'm telling you guys, you're struggling to defend in this year's FIFA and you need a decent centre-half. Marco Senesi, give him a go. He's been brilliant for me. Blocks a shot there, turns it behind for a corner. It remains 0-0. Lincoln also making his debut, had his first chance there 26 minutes in, denied, still goalless, and then 30 minutes in, Matty cashed down this right hand side, picked up from Villa on a free transfer, finds Curtis Jones across to Lincoln, and this was a really nicely worked goal here. Very, very nicely worked indeed. Cutting in from the right hand side, across to Ivan Toney, rolls it through to the skipper, and Brennan Johnson gives us the opener with his first of this season. So yeah, Johnson with the goal there. And I've got to say as well, you know, Joe Worrell now won't be a starter in this team. We know that. We switched to a 4 at the back now. And, you know, Senesi is, of course, my best centre-half. We've bought in Saliba. Obviously, he's going to start. I'm not against selling Joe Worrell now. You know, I must admit, I said last season, I wasn't really convinced by Joe Worrell. And I hate to say it because he's club captain, but I felt more confident when he wasn't in the team, which I feel really bad about saying. But if Worrell does go, either in this transfer window, in January or next season, then I'm definitely thinking the guy will take the armband permanently. Brennan Johnson. He was in the majority of our games now, and he got his first of the year. The guy that set him up scored our second. Tony made it 2-0 soon after the restart. Rodri Brown with another assist there as Ivan smacks in another goal to start the campaign off. 2 on the opening day against Leeds. Scored at Old Trafford. Now it's the 4th goal of the season for Ivan Toney in 3 games. A shocker, on fire as always, and right from kickoff. Well, can you say capitulation, because Southampton gave the ball away straight away. Rodri goes down the left-hand side, whips one in, and with his first touch, I believe, since coming on the pitch, Dominic Solanke gets his first of the season. Yeah, I took off Tony. I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but like when I take a 2-goal lead, when I go 2-0 up or 3-1 up, or just take a 2-goal lead, I often then think, if we're about an hour of the way into the game, or possibly a little bit more, I'll take my striker or my main striker off, because I think, it's not goals I need now, it's tight defence. I've got the goals, I don't need any more, I just need to defend. So like, as soon as I get to take a 2-goal lead, I'll take off my best striker. Ivan Toney comes off, Solanke comes on. Brilliant cross by Rodri Brown for 2 assists in a few minutes, and 75 minutes in. Once again, a lovely little build-up here, as Lincoln rolls the ball across for Curtis Jones, and the former Liverpool midfielder scores his first goal for the club. Yet moved on to Brentford in the save, picks him up from Thomas Frank's side, and Curtis Jones gets his first for Forest. So yeah, 4-0 Nottingham Forest, absolutely dominating in this game. And this was probably one of the best games I've played since the save began. You know, I must say I was in complete control really from start to finish in this game. If I'm being honest here, I could have scored more. And it's funny as well, because like Southampton did have some chances, mainly half chances to be fair, but this is one of those games where, like, you know, everything's clicking, like everything is working for you. That reaction says it all. You know those games you play where like every single aspect is going right for you. Your defense is solid, your midfield is really, really strong, the creativity is in abundance, your goalkeeper is making saves when required as well, right on cue. 4 minutes to go, Henderson bags his second clean sheet of the season in 3 games, and you're finishing your chances on the other end. Just one of those games of FIFA where everything goes according to plan. It did in this one. 1 for Brennan, Ivan Toney's 4th for the year, a first goal for Curtis, and a double for Dominic Solanke as well. 5-0 to final score. And I love the fact, I've said it before, but I love the fact that since last year, EA have included XG into the statistics page, because I've mentioned before, I'm a bit of an old head when it comes down to football. Like, when XG first started becoming mainstream, I was like, oh, it's a load of nonsense, But actually, makes sense. And obviously, for games like that, I'm glad that XG is now included, because you look at those stats there and you say, well, Southampton had more shots than you, but the XG was far higher than theirs, because our quality of chances was much, much higher. Brilliant win, and perhaps my best win so far of the save. So following that, transfer deadline day would come round, and on deadline day, I'll be honest here, I wasn't really planning to do anything. We turned down a bid for Dominic Solanke once again, braced there against the Saints. I said he'll get more minutes this year, and he will with the 2 goals there. We then had a bid for Jaden Anthony from Sporting Lisbon, and I said, nope, we're going to keep him here because we now are now playing with wingers in the team, and I want a decent squad one, which Anthony is. But this was interesting. Now, I said I wouldn't stand in my players' way if the big bids came calling, and AS Roma, Jose Mourinho, putting in a bid for Mangala, the Belgian, signed a contract at the start of last season but lost his place in the team after Ward-Prowse arrived, and now with the arrival of Curtis Jones, with the arrival of Donny van der Beek, with the arrival of Fred last season, he's not going to get much game time. I actually started Marshall Manetzi in that last game there against Southampton ahead of Mangala. Mangala's decent, man, don't get me wrong, but he's one of those players who I just never really got the most out of. And, you'll have these players in career mode that you sign or inherit and you think on paper, oh yeah, he'll do bits for me. And they just never really do. Like, just never really get the most out of them that you were hoping for. It's just one of those things. Certain players work out, certain players don't. Mangala goes, though, and the trend continues of selling our players to big clubs if the bids come in and not standing in their way. Mangala off to AS Rome for £22.5 million. So I thought, right, I'll need a replacement for the Belgian. I'll be impressed with Fred's start to the season. Curtis Jones, as we know at the moment, is playing further forward in the attacking midfield role, but I really want a strong anchorman. Now, on the shortlist there, I know that James Garner, a lot of Forest fans would love to have him back permanently. Moving on to Everton at the moment, he's out on loan, so I can't get him. But I found this guy, and I said this season we were going to try and sign players that I've never used before. Ali Musrati. Now, I know nothing about this guy. I had to do some Googling once I found him. And he seems like a bit of a late bloomer, and I respect that. As a 29-year-old who's about to turn 30 in a month's time, I'm starting to gain a lot of respect for late bloomers, hoping that I can use their story as inspiration. Ali Musrati seems like the late bloomer I can gain inspiration from. And he's in to replace Mangala for £27.5 million from Napoli. In the final year of his contract, we get him on a valuation deal, and I'm really looking forward to using this guy. He looks like a really strong anchorman, a great defensive midfielder to protect the back line. And in this 4-2-3-1, that's what I want. Now, I'll be totally honest, Donny van der Beek, I'm not sure what his best role is, if I'm being totally honest. Further forward, sitting deeper, but I wouldn't really use him as an anchorman. Fred, I really like as a versatile, energetic box-to-box midfielder. But Musrati, I think, would be a kind of like an upgrade on Marshall Manetzi. You look at his stats, he's not very quick at all, but his defensive stats are brilliant. He's got 90 strength, 83 stamina, 83 aggression. Again, great, solid base defensive stats, and not a terrible passer of the ball as well. So to me, I think whilst Van der Beek probably also a little bit more going forward, I would say in this team what we need is someone that's good at protecting the back line and helping us defend better. And I think Marshall Manetzi, who started in that game against Southampton there, you wouldn't have seen it, but he was really good at protecting the back line. And that's what I need in this team. Someone that can do the nitty-gritty sort of work, doesn't get included in the highlights, but it's a crucial, crucial reason why we can help keep clean sheets. I'm very excited for Musrati. Again, I know very little about him, but the Libyan international, it seems like he's a late bloomer. He won the African Cup of Nations in 2014, I found out, with Libya. He won the Portuguese Cup a couple of years ago as well. Again, don't know much about him, but I'm excited. I'm very, very excited here. Good anchorman. I've never used the guy before. And a late bloomer, giving me inspiration, giving me, well, I guess food for thought. I'm turning 30 next year. The big Frio, it's creeped up on me. But if Musrati can develop so well in his late 20s, Well, I've still got a month to go. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys, as transfer deadline day ends there. There is a little bit of money left in our budget, which we'll consider spending in January or keeping over for the new season. But as we see the league table here, 2 wins in our first 3 games, 9 goals on the board, and a decent start for Nottingham Forest. Well, in the next episode, we begin our Europa League campaign. And here's hoping this is the season we take the next big step. Thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome day. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.